Welcome back to the channel of Midwest Weather. In today's video, we'll be talking about the severe weather for Friday afternoon and into the evening. There's a pretty good risk of severe weather extending from Iowa and southern Wisconsin all the way down to Missouri and Illinois for portions of the region. In this image, we're looking at the winds around the middles of the atmosphere, and you can see that they're very strong, which is allowing for this severe weather outbreak to happen. A southwesterly low-level jet, which is made up of strong winds in the low levels of the atmosphere, is upwards of 70 knots, which is very strong, especially for this early in the season. That will allow for strong moisture return, higher dew point, and also better ingredients for sea weather. This will also allow for more tornadoes and even the potential for strong damaging winds upwards of 90 miles an hour. Here is a look at the dew point, which has increased since yesterday's update. Models have gone up on moisture return, allowing for low 60s to mid 60s dew points. This is very favorable for better ingredients for sea weather, but also more energy for storms to fuel off of. Especially being this early in the season, you really need high dew points, but also this is high enough for a pretty big severe weather outbreak. Temperatures aren't really a main ingredient of severe weather, but it does go into some of the things. And temperatures Friday afternoon will be very warm for this time of year, in the mid 60s to an upper 60s. A few 70s are also expected, is where the strongest winds will be, possibly to eastern Iowa in the afternoon hours, but that also depends on how much sun we get. Here's a look at the instability, which is energy for storms. This allows for strong updrafts and longer-lived updrafts. It is pretty high, up to 2,000 to 3,000 joules, which is highest across eastern Iowa, which is south of the warm front and east of the cold front, and going down into Illinois. It's pretty low in Missouri, but there is stronger wind shear down there, which will allow for even stronger storms, even though Cape isn't as high. Here is a look at the cap, which is a layer of warm air in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. This prevents storms from becoming severe or even forming. But as you can see here, cap on miles continues to look very low, which is allowing for storms to form. Now, if this would increase, this would make the severe weather threat go down a little bit. But as of now, there's no cap in place, so the severe weather threat is fairly high. Here's a look at the significant tornado parameters index, which shows the chances of seeing strong tornadoes. You can see the index is quite high across portions of Iowa, Missouri, and Illinois. This is also the areas that will see the highest chance for several tornadoes or even a couple strong ones, as the index again is quite high. But this also depends on how much sun we get during the afternoon and evening. But right now, it looks like there will be plenty of sun for an unstable atmosphere. Now, I know that these are confusing for people that don't know much about weather, but this is a forecast sounding from one of the high-res models, and this shows the thermodynamics and other kinematics for storms. The easiest area that even for people that don't know weather can look at is the possible hazard type area, where that shows a TOR, which means a tornado, and so this is a tornado sounding. But these pretty much are mathematical equations just on one graphic that you can see. In the top right, that is a Holder graph showing the shear components. And in the left, the big square area is the thermodynamics. The red line is the temperatures, and the green line is all the dew points. You can see that they're pretty close together throughout the low levels and mid levels of the atmosphere. So that is good enough for storms to develop, and there won't be any cap in place. And then on the bottom, the whole bottom is pretty much just kinematics and other ingredients. This includes the CAPE, like the instability, shear, SRH, and also some other ingredients that you guys won't really know. On the bottom right, that is the SDP, which stands for significant tornado parameters. And that is also with SIN, which is capped just on a model. And that will show the areas that is best for strong tornadoes. And you see the area is quite green, so it's not too high, but the ingredients are pretty yellow. Now that we've got some more high-res guidance to look at, we're going to talk about some of the timing and the rounds of storms that will move through. Here is the first round of storms. Now, give or take miles. I mean, they could be a couple counties south or north on this too, being this far out. But you can see in the first round of storms, scattered severe thunderstorms are expected, with even supercells are also possible. This will be south of the warm front too, and this is where the greatest chance for tornadoes will be, with even strong. Here's a look at the first round of storms Friday afternoon. This will be around midday Friday between 11 and 2 p.m., maybe 3 p.m. is when these will form. The best areas would be across eastern Iowa and even to southern Wisconsin, just south of the warm front. These have the highest chance to be tornadic with even some big, large hail in there too. But again, cloud cover will be very important if these will form or not, because if we get more cloud cover, these might not even form. The second round of storms are expected in the afternoon and evening hours, mainly across central and eastern Iowa, and then continuing down to Missouri and also into Wisconsin and Illinois. That will move through in the overnight hours. This round of storms will likely be a squall line with a high chance for damaging winds will be, which some could be intense, upwards of 80 to 90 miles an hour. This could reach durational criteria, but it depends how long it lasts, because it has to last for 400 miles or more. This is still the second round of storms, but this is a squall line as it moves much further east into Illinois. Now, the squall line will probably reach up into southern Wisconsin too, and this is the time frame of this is around sunset Friday night. Now, damaging winds gusts up to 80 miles an hour is still expected with these, and some large hail is also possible. But the tornado threat will be very low by then. Here is a map that I posted on the page earlier today. The enhanced risk is that has a higher chance of seeing storms, but it's mainly because there will be more widespread. So the chances of seeing severe weather inside that area is higher than in other areas. The slight risk extends farther east to where the squall line will go into Friday evening and into the overnight hours. It will weaken as it moves farther east too. Thank you guys for watching this video, and we will have more updates, even a live video coming tomorrow.